I hadn't seen my Uncle Thomas in over a decade, not since my parents moved away from the village where he stayed behind. Still, when the call came that he had died, I felt a pull to return. Maybe guilt, maybe curiosity, maybe something else. Ashwood was smaller than I remembered, silent, watchful, the kind of place where you feel like the trees know your name. His funeral was held in the old church at the edge of town, moss-covered stone, stained glass so faded it looked bruised. Inside, the air was thick, not with incense, something older, something like wet soil and iron. The service was brief. The priest, Father Malley, spoke of rest, of eternal sleep. Villagers nodded, murmured prayers, but no one cried. They buried him behind the church that evening, just as the sun dipped behind the pines. As I turned to leave, an old woman gripped my arm. Her fingers were like twigs wrapped in leather. "You'll stay for the second, won't you?" she asked. I blinked. "The second?" "The second burial," she whispered. "Next Friday." I thought she was confused, or senile, but others nodded, without meeting my eyes. That night I asked about it at the inn. The barkeep avoided the question, just said, "We all go down twice in Ashwood. It's tradition." I stayed. Of course I did. Curiosity has sharp teeth. Over the next days, no one mentioned the second burial, not directly. But I caught glimpses. Men digging by lantern light behind the church, a child humming the funeral hymn in reverse, an empty coffin left outside to weather. Friday came, grey and cold. The second funeral was at midnight. I arrived late, walking the fog-drenched path to the churchyard. I could hear chanting, low, rhythmic, without melody. The villagers stood in a circle around Thomas's grave. The soil had been freshly turned. Again. Father Malley stood beside the pit, holding something in his hands. It wasn't a Bible. As I approached, he looked up at me and smiled. "You came," he said. "Family should always witness." "What is this?" I asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he tossed a handful of white powder into the grave. The chanting rose. Then, movement. The soil trembled. A hand burst through the dirt. My uncle's hand. It clawed upward, slow and stiff, like a puppet on broken strings. Then the other hand. Then his face. His eyes were open, wide, black. I staggered back. "What the hell is this? He was dead." Father Malley nodded. "Yes, but the soul doesn't always go quietly." Two villagers stepped forward, holding long iron rods. They drove them through Thomas's chest, one through the heart, one through the stomach. He twitched, gasped, then fell still. The second burial began. This time, they used salt in the soil. The hymn was different, lower, harsher. There was no talk of peace, only silence. Back at the inn, no one looked at me. I packed and left before dawn. I've never gone back to Ashwood, but sometimes when I dream, I see my uncle's eyes, wide, black, pleading, and I wonder if one day my grave will be dug twice too.